各位
Members, we have a quorum, and this is the appointed time. So for this panel on administration of justice and legal services for 2012-13, I call to order this meeting. And the first item on the agenda is the election of chairman and deputy chairman. Would members please pay attention to Rule 77(6) of the Rules of Procedure. A member who is the chairman or deputy chairman of a government advisory body in respect of matters which a panel considers to be directly related to terms of reference of the panel shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of the panel. And bracket 7, a member shall not be chairman or deputy chairman of more than one panel at the same time. And according to Rule 24 and Appendix 4 of the House Rules, I now invite members to nominate a candidate for chairman of the panel. A valid nomination will have to be made by a member verbally to be seconded by another member, and the nomination should be accepted by the candidate being nominated. Mr. Alan Leung, I nominate Mr. Dennis Kwok. Mr. Dennis Kwok, do you accept? Yes, I do. Any other nomination? Ms. Starry Lee, I nominate Dr. Priscilla Leung. Anyone seconds? Mr. Abraham Shack seconds. Dr. Priscilla Leung, do you accept the nomination? Yes. Any other nominations? Any other nominations? If not, now the voting will be carried out by secret ballots. So the staff members will distribute ballot papers to every member together with a chop, with a tick, and according to the order of nomination, each candidate will be given a designation, and would members please put a tick with a chop next to the name of the candidate. So the order of nomination is Dennis Kwok, number 1, and Dr. Priscilla Leung, number 2. It's done by secret balloting, so please do not show your ballot paper to any other members. You can cover the ballot paper, but there's no need to fold it up. The ballot papers are now being distributed, and I remind members that if you're not a member of this panel, you will not be given a ballot paper. All right, for example, Mr. Yip Kwok Him is not a panel member. All right, and I can see that you haven't got any ballot paper.
好，咁而家係有冇
All right. Has any member not received a ballot paper? Mr. Paul Chair, what haven't you got? The ballot paper? He hasn't got the ballot paper.
咁啊，仲有冇邊個委員係未獲？
All right. Has any other member not received the ballot paper? Now, if members have filled in your ballot paper, I declare that the voting now ends. The staff members should not distribute any more ballot papers, and they will now collect the papers. Now, would members please put the papers into the ballot box?
Right. 咁咁或者我跟住
Right, so in the following, since the ballot papers have been collected, Mr. Alan Leung and Ms. Dari Lee, who've made nominations, please come out and monitor the counting of votes. All the ballot papers will be destroyed immediately after the meeting with the clerk as witness.
點樣燒嘅？碎自己，
碎自己唔係點講？而家開始。
好，咁而家開始啊。
All right, we'll now begin. With the two members monitoring the counting of votes, please pay attention. Would you like to read into the microphone? Number two. Number two. Number two. Number two. Number two. Number two. Number one. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number one. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number one. Number one. Number two. Number two. Number one. Number two. Number one. Number two. Number two. Number two. Number one. Number two. Number two. Number one. Number two. Number two. Number one. Number two. So we'll count the votes again. All right, I now declare the voting results. Mr. Dennis Kwok received 13 votes. Dr. Priscilla Leung received 19 votes. I declare that Dr. Priscilla Leung is elected chairman of the panel on administration of justice and legal services. Please come over and chair this meeting for the election of deputy chairman. Right, we now formally proceed to the nomination of Deputy Chairman, Mr. Alan Leung. Mr. Dennis Kwok. All right, Mr. Dennis Kwok. Dr. Kwok seconds. So, Mr. Dennis Kwok, do you accept nomination? Yes. Any other nomination? Any other nomination? If not, so I declare that Mr. Dennis Kwok is returned Deputy Chairman. So in front of you, first of all, on the agenda, the second item is about schedule of meetings and the time for meetings. Now we have discussed with the Secretariat. For this session, I think that we have managed to get a better slot, and that is the fourth Friday of each month at 10:45 a.m. And usually this slot is used by other panels. So I'd like to seek members' views on this slot. Friday at 10:45. Usually the meeting will last for 2 hours. Yes, Ms. Emily Lau. But usually, in the past, we used to have meetings at 4:30 p.m. One of the important reasons is that we need to accommodate the legal professionals, because very often they need to attend our meetings and offer their views. And very often they are otherwise engaged. So we use the time slot at 4:30. So I think we better stick with 4:30. Because if you have the meeting scheduled in the mornings, if they can't come, we need to reschedule it. So to save trouble, I suggest 4:30.
Any other suggestions? Now, this time slot has been proposed in discussion and consultation with the Secretariat. Because in the afternoon on Monday, I have some regular meetings to attend. And then concerning Friday mornings, previously the subcommittee on Lehman Brothers had its meeting in the morning on Friday. Now, in this session, as we have a large membership, we need to make sure that there will be a quorum, and so this time slot is, I think, a better choice. Now, because during the last term, for the subcommittee of Lehman Brothers, we were able to get a quorum despite the size of the subcommittee. And so we had a very lengthy discussion with the Secretariat, and we decided to secure this time slot. Now, Chairman, I think when you decide on the time slot, you should discuss the issue with members. Of course, I respect the Secretariat's recommendation. I understand that the Secretariat is always willing to assist members. Now, Chairman, you said that you were not free in the afternoon. That's regrettable, but I think both the chairman and the deputy chairman have to try to accommodate the schedules of members as well as the schedules of the legal services sector. Now, I want to know whether you or the Secretariat had consulted the legal services sector. Did they say that Friday morning was a convenient time slot? Now, previously you were also a member of the AJLS panel, Chairman, and I think you know that very often we have members or from the legal profession coming. So I would insist that we have meetings in the afternoon at 4:30. Ms. Emily Lau, yes, I've heard your views and your suggestion. But of course, we welcome members' suggestions concerning the time slot, but then we have to take into account the work of the Secretariat. We've considered other time slots, but we are of the view that this is a preferred time slot, and many members are of the view that this is a good time slot to them, 10:45 a.m. I hope that Ms. Emily Lau will understand that in order that the meeting can be held, we need to have a quorum. And I think experienced members will know that more members are able to attend meetings in the morning on Fridays. And it is more likely to have a quorum. And in fact, in the last term, this particular time slot was for the subcommittee of Lehman Brothers. So I will listen to member suggestions, and then I will talk to the clerk, and then we'll come to a decision. Now, I was not a member of this panel in the last term. I understand that this is the first meeting of the panel in this term, and it is only today that the chairman and the deputy chairman are elected. So I want to know who had a discussion with the secretariat concerning changing the time slot. Chairman, you kept mentioning we. So who are the persons involved? Maybe at that time, those who took part in the discussion were only just members of the council. He or she was not the chairman. So I want to know whether at that time all members of the panel were consulted and informed. So, yes, Mr. Kwok. Chairman, can you please answer my question first? You gave a reply to Ms. Emily Lau's question, so please answer my question before you call the next member to speak. Now, Ms. Ho, I hope that you understand that we are not revising or changing the time slot. We are together proposing a time slot for our regular meetings. But, Chairman, you kept saying we had the discussion with the secretariat. So, when you referred to we, who were you referring to? Now, I was as electrical member, I asked the secretariat whether there would be a better time slot. So, in fact, Mr. Dennis Kwok could have asked the secretariat as well. If you plan to do certain things, you do all the preparation work. So I asked whether there would be a better time slot. And I think what's important is that we should try to secure the best slot possible for this panel. In fact, many panels have wanted this slot. But I want to know, before you became the chairman, when did you discuss with the secretariat concerning the time slot? Can you repeat your question? Now, before you became the chairman of the panel, when did you, as a member of the Legislative Council, had a discussion with the secretariat? Before this meeting, around noon today, I asked. Now, because I attended a few meetings of the other panels this morning, and the other panels also discussed meeting time. But anyway, I will consider members' suggestions, and then I will discuss with the secretariat as to which slot is the better. So far, we are talking. This only represents your suggestion. It's only your preferred choice. But I did ask the secretariat. So can the clerk also give us a schedule of meetings based on the previous time slot? What do you mean by the previous time slot, Ms. Sit Ho? Now, Chairman, because the other panels stick to the previous time slots, for example, 4:30 on a particular Monday or Tuesday or what. But Ms. Sit Ho, I believe you also took part in some of the meetings this morning. I hope that you will really clarify the situation for the benefit of new members in particular. Now, concerning the time slots, it doesn't mean that we will choose the slots which are not so good. So please give us slots for us to choose. That's impossible. Now, I think we can have a discussion. Now, because we've spent about 10 minutes discussing the time slot, we have to make sure that our meetings can proceed effectively. But I think you really have to take into account the schedules of the legal services sector. Now, please queue up. Yes, please queue up, and please raise your hands first. Dennis Kwok. And then Paul Chair, and then Leung Kwok Hong, and then Starry Lee, and then Kwok Ka Ki, and then Leung Kai Chang, and then Charles Mock. Now, I'll have to draw a line here. I really must draw a line here. Now, I think you have to trust the clerk. You have to have confidence in her record, her list. Mr. Dennis Kwok, Chairman, I want to say that very often, this panel needs to have the input of the Bar Association and the Law Society in its discussion. It's important that we take into account their schedules. Now, I think their input, their comments are very important for the work of members of the council and for the panel. And, the lawyers can come to our meetings only after they've attended court hearings. So, Chairman, please do not just consider which time slot is convenient to LegCo members. We have to take into account the schedules of the lawyers as well. Yes, I understand that we need to have the input of the legal services sector. So I will talk to the clerk as to whether we have a time slot in the afternoon. Now, initially, I considered 10:45 a.m. because I took into account the attendance rate. As you know, all members are very busy, and my experience tells me that 10:45 a.m. Friday is a good slot. The attendance rate is high because we have our HC meetings in the afternoon on Friday, and we have a large membership in this panel, in this session, over 30 members, and so I hope that we can find a time slot which is convenient to as many members as possible. It's really difficult to find a suitable time slot, but I've heard your views. I will talk to the clerk to see whether we can identify a suitable time slot in the afternoon. Now, please be concise when you speak, members, because another panel will have to use this conference room very soon. Mr. Paul Chair. Chairman, many panels have already decided on the meeting slots, and I understand that every time the Secretariat provides a time slot for members' consideration. I understand that some members may not want Priscilla Leung to be the chairman, but it doesn't mean that you should at this meeting try to make things difficult. And not all members, like me, sat through all the meetings of the panel. Sometimes only a few members were present. Some left early. Maybe our lawyer members were very busy. I don't know. And then concerning finding time slots convenient for barristers and solicitors, I can remember that during court hearings, I heard barristers saying that they could not attend court hearings because they had to attend LegCo meetings, and as a result, the judge had to reschedule the hearing. So does it mean that for meetings requiring the input of doctors, we have to make sure that the time slot is suitable for doctors after doctors have left their office or the hospitals, and we only have monthly meetings? So is it that barristers and solicitors find it so difficult to attend our meetings? So if you want to make things difficult for Ms. Priscilla Leung because you don't want her to be the chairman, I think there are many chances for you to do that in future. But please do not deliberately draw on this matter today. I think it's best if we can have a meeting at 4:30, Chairman. You can ask the other panels. Now, if you invite the deputations or the lawyers to come and they can't come, then that would be very inconvenient. And as Mr. Porcher has pointed out, now some court hearings may have to be rescheduled because lawyers don't have time. But then I believe LegCo members will not say that they can't attend meetings because they have other or that they have to attend a court hearing, for example. So my suggestion is clear. So, in the afternoon, Monday to Friday. All right, I've already agreed to talk to the clerk on this. Now, Chairman, you need not be worried as to whether we can get a quorum. The quorum is only 1/3. If we can't even get a quorum, if we can't even get 1/3, then we might as well really close or wrap up this panel. In fact, in my party, we need a quorum of 50%. All right, KK Kwok is already left. Mr. Leung Kai-cha. I want to respond to Mr. Paul Chair's remarks. He said that the time slot was proposed and decided by the Secretariat, but just now someone said that he or she talked to the Secretariat, and the Secretariat came up with a suggestion. So that colleague inform all the members, and I want to know whether we would be given some choices instead of just 10:45 a.m. Now, Mr. Leung, now in fact, now usually a time slot is proposed for regular meetings, or else the discussion can't proceed. So we are proposing really the best time slot. In the last term, we had very long meetings. We asked the Secretariat whether conference rooms were available for meetings. So please do not think that a time slot proposed by the Secretariat would be problematic. Now, if you had paid attention to the work of the Electrical, you would have known the usual arrangements. Mr. Charles Mock.
This morning at 9 o'clock, we had the Health Services panel, and I was there. You were there, Chair, as well. And some members suggested that they did not want to have the meetings at 8:30, so it was changed to 4:30. So the suggestion was made there and then, and followed by voting. So why are we hurrying ourselves to this decision? It seems that you're making the decision on our behalf. So can you explain why we're adopting a different practice than in the other panel? Or are you saying that this morning's panel meeting was wrong and that we need to go back to that panel meeting and rectify the situation? Mr. Charles Mock, yes, we were there, and I don't know if you have taken part in other panel meetings as well. And I've heard members' views. Members have suggested the time slot at 4:30, and if room is available, then we will try our best. I'm not saying that the two other panels this morning were wrong. We had a discussion for 15 minutes, and then we also need to respect the views of members and the Secretariat. We need to have a way of scheduling meetings, because we may have different schedules. And just now, the Secretariat and myself have tried my best to find the best time slot, because this panel comprises more than 30 members. You talked about this morning's panels. Well, when members saw that the schedule was 8:30, well, they didn't like it, but our schedule of meetings is at 10:45. This is not a bad time slot. And yet, having heard members' views, we'll go back and see if there are any available slots at 4:30. Mr. Tam Yu Chung. I subscribe to the views of Mr. Paul Chair. Last term, I was also a member of this panel, and very often myself and Mr. Paul Chair would be here, and apart from the chairman, there would only be just a couple of members. Even if the meeting was held at 4:30, some members might be unavailable. So, your suggestion of 10:45 in the morning, I think, is acceptable. But if you can find any available slots at 4:30, I have no objection either. About this suggestion that we should accommodate barristers and lawyers, well, I think that we also need to think about the attendance of our fellow members. And it's not at every meeting that lawyers and barristers will attend, and they may not be the same representatives. Thank you, Mr. Tan Yu Chung. Yes? Mr. Lam Kwok Hong? I think you need to respect members who were panel members during the last term, they had the first-hand experience and they understood the situation. Ms. Claudia Mo. Now, I have sat through meetings since the morning. I understand the scheduling of meetings. I respect the work of the Secretariat. They need to look after different members and find the best time slot for meetings. But unfortunately, just now, you said that you did look at Monday afternoon and yet you would not be available. But you were not elected chairman yet. So is any abuse of power involved? Because you weren't yet chairman. And when you were questioned, you kept saying we and the Secretariat. But in fact, we only means you. Well, Ms. Claudia Mo, we originally only scheduled for 15 minutes for this part of discussion, and yet we're allowing members to speak. I have heard members' views, and I'll go back and discuss with the Secretary, Mr. Allen now. Just now, Mr. Paul Chair said that there is no need for us to wage a war with you, Madam Chair, at the first meeting. What is that? All right, Mr. Allen now, please go on. Madam Chair, you're supposed to chair the meeting. Now, what I want to say is that for all panel meetings today, it's true that the schedule of meetings for each panel were tabled. And for the Health Services panel, which is scheduled at 8:30, now, the schedule, yes, it was prepared by the Secretariat following last term's practice. However, Madam Chair, when you explained about the schedule of meetings for this panel, you said that we discussed with the Secretariat. That really arouses our interest as to what you meant by we. So, similar to the to what we thought at the development panel meeting this morning, if we did a round of consultation, it would be a waste of time. So is it really the case that before this meeting began, the schedule of meeting was prepared by the Secretariat? And was there any reason why the old schedule was not followed? Could you please clarify? Now, about the schedule of meetings in the rules of procedure, nothing is mentioned about our schedule of meetings which must follow last term's schedule. And we have over 30 members on this panel. We have to ensure a quorum is present at every meeting. Mr. Eleanor, I don't know if you were a member of this panel during the last term. No. But we do have some members on this panel during the last term, and at the meetings at 4:30. There were only a few members, together with the administration's representatives, and the more members had to be sought. So some members do not have first-hand experience as members of this panel. I was a member of this panel during the last term. I took part in meetings when there were only 2 or even 3 members. So, relatively speaking, Friday morning is a better time slot for the majority of members, because we have the House Committee in the afternoon. Very often on Monday at 5 o'clock or so in the afternoon, there wouldn't be any member left. So it's 4:30 really the best time slot. Madam Chair, my question is directed at the Secretariat. Would the Secretariat please reply to my question? My question is, for the schedule of meetings for the HALS panel, what's the schedule set down by the Secretariat, just like the schedule of meetings for other panels this morning, or was there any input by others? This morning, Dr. Lang, our chair, around 10 o'clock in the morning, when I met with Dr. Lang, she suggested this time slot, which will allow her, the majority of members, to take part in meetings. So before Dr. Leung's intervention, before 10 o'clock, was the original schedule prepared by the Secretariat the same as last terms? Yes, you do have a schedule. Well, we would follow the existing schedule, that is the fourth Monday of each month at 4:30 in the afternoon. So at the time, I asked about this time slot because we have this experience, and we discussed about it. We have more than 30 members on this panel. So how can we accommodate members from different sectors so that we can ensure a quorum is present and to make the meetings more efficient? That's why I suggested this time slot. I have heard your views, and I also hope that you would respect us. The chair can discuss with the Secretariat in terms of the schedule. Well, some members suggested the afternoon slot, but some members also find the morning slot on Friday acceptable. We'll go back and consider whether there are any alternatives.
Now, I do query your approach. Now, I intended to run for the chairmanship, but I would not have talked to the Secretariat before the election, attempting to change the time slot. Yes, I know that you want to try to draw on this issue, but I want to say that when I asked about the time slot, I said that if I was elected chairman, I would prefer this time slot. So now, in fact, this is that was merely for the efficiency of the meeting. I think we have had a thorough discussion, and I think it's for the chairman to make a decision. I want to ask about the rules of procedure. It says that we must not impute any motives into remarks made by the chairman or by members. Can the clerk confirm whether there is this rule in the ROP? Yes, there is this rule. So please do not destroy your remark that people are trying to dwell on this out of proportion. So please respect the rules of procedure. All right, if you do not like such a remark, I can withdraw this remark. Mr. Ronnie Tong, I think we must hand over this conference room to another panel. So I will consider member suggestions, and then I will work out a suitable time slot with the clerk. Now, Mr. Kwok, you've already spoken. We have to also bear in mind the efficiency of our meetings, and we have to hand over this room to another group. All right, so we have had a thorough discussion. Members have expressed their views very clearly. Ms. Emily Lau, you've already spoken. Chairman, I will not accept your discussing the matter with the clerk. At least the discussion should also involve the deputy chairman, and then you should come up with some suggestions. I hope that you will, as usual, be independent and objective and professional. And if the Secretariat does something which undermines members' confidence in the Secretariat, that then this Council, electoral members and Hong Kong people will feel very sad. Now, in our eyes, our Secretariat staff are objective, professional, and I think this is our expectations. And so, Chairman, yes, you can have a discussion with the clerk, but together with the Deputy Chairman, and then you give us some suggestions, and then we can have a meeting, and then we can discuss those suggestions. All right, we must have efficient meetings. So members who are interested in this matter have already given their views adequately. So I think Ms. Lau's suggestion is acceptable. I will also invite the Deputy Chairman to take part in the discussion. Now the members of the another panel have already come in, so we have to leave this conference room, and I will come up with some suggested time slots for members as soon as possible.